You're currently streaming just a black screen. What's up, Chota Brighter? Welcome to the stream. And yeah, you also joined at a good time because it's like we've been at this for 2 hours. Enjoying the game. Um, I did it at. I used a window capture. I just selected the window. Pretty soon you'll not have to look at our dumb faces, and you'll get to see it, our dumb faces in the game. What I did is I popped out our video and put it on the other screen. So it would be its own window. Yeah, so basically what you missed in the 2 hours was a lot of witty banter, the name of the game that we put into the stream title, and me sorting Pokemon cards, which apparently had a very satisfying snapping noise when I was putting them into the piles that people said made good ASMR. That's what you've missed. So I gave you a thumbs up. I like this stream already. Now people can hear me better.
Apply. Hey, I'm now verbal on my stream. We're getting somewhere,
Hey,
guys. We're getting somewhere. Okay, what's our fleet look like? Activating. Come on, buddy.
do it. I sure can link it. There you go. Oddly enough, it's also MythberryTV.
Is there one that there's not one that lets me do like an overlay? I don't want to put. Yeah, I'm not gonna put that up there.
Don't spend too much time worrying about the Discord piece because ideally we won't be showing Discord for much longer.
Fair. So, then the question is, what happens if I do that? It's like my go-to question these days because I'm going through everything. I'm like, and what happens when I do this or this? Like, oh, broke it. Cool.
I literally have the executable right here that's waiting for me to open it. I want to double click it so bad.
I mean, feel free. I launched mine. See what it would do.
Yeah, but you have the knowledge on how to fix things. If I open it and it just crashes and we have to re-upload everything, that's not going to be fun.
No, you're gonna be fine. Go ahead and try it. It's gonna be a windowed mode apparently.
Windows protected by PC.
Woo! Window capture 2. That one. Although OBS
Run anyway. Do I want to allow this app from an unknown publisher to make changes to my device?
Yeah.
Perfect. Oh god, it's full screen.
Unknown Punisher. Unknown. Come on, capture the right thing.
Right now, it's just a black screen, and it took over my entire screen.
Yeah, it's gonna be black for a second, and then it'll show you stuff. Give it a
This is what I see right now, everyone. Want it to turn into something different, I'll let you know.
Why is mine capturing? It's not still there. Let's do this.
Mine's not full screen anymore.
I know mine's not either.
But it's also not in a window. Like, what did you do?
I have no idea. I don't know if you can click in it. So
we are still winning. All right. I would just.
ooh, it says a scaling event. What's that mean? Ooh, it's active. Okay. What's my next step?
Once our fleet has finished, it moves to the active status. Now, I had to refresh my page when I came over to metrics and take lift fleet, and you won't be resuming the course.
Okay.
An actual game lift fleet of that. And we're going to create a game session on our game lift fleet. So I have my cheat sheet here, and I want to call
That's
game
what I see
lift
now.
to create game.
How's yours looking there? Oh.
I'm just like bring this here. I'm gonna make this nice. Step Discord off to the side here.
Where's my cheat
There you
sheet?
go. All right. So I'm just gonna go through the character creation in game and see what it's like there.
Okay.
Take a selfie with a photo
You want to let your
with a neutral face and good lighting. Let's see what it does. Oh no, it's gonna break the camera. I always forget. I can't use the camera twice. Continue with it. Pick an avatar.
Okay.
Gosh.
Session, but we have to change our parameters here because we now
Oh, this guy
have a
looks like a
different
space pirate.
fleet ID and
Oh, it's just a starting
different
point. Never mind.
location. So we
We've
can
been
get our
through this
fleet
before.
ID
I'm all white.
Okay. Fleet ID.
from the fleet in the console. So we're going to copy that, including the word fleet, and I'm going to replace
Oh, good. They have someone balding. That's neat.
Yeah, crap. Okay, so create game session.
I think it's crashing or something.
No, I'm just trying to create a game session real quick so that there's something in the fleet. But my cheat sheet I typed something on my cheat sheet and now I can't see all the code very well. I don't know when that happened. I guess it's in there.
Saying goodnight to my son. Give me a second.
Okay. Name. Oh, never mind. I was looking at the wrong one. Okay, there we go. So that.
the old fleet ID of my Anywhere fleet, and I'll change the name of the game session to Game Lift Hosted Session. I'm going to set the maximum player session count to 2 and leave the region set to US East 2. Now, you'll see that if we look at locations, the location is US East 2. It's the region. So
I'm
we
back.
can set that here.
Excellent.
But if we take a look
My
at
avatar
the
is just
command
white.
reference for create game session, and we take a look at the location, it says a fleet's remote location to place the new game session in. If this parameter is not
Looks
set,
like
the
a good
new
hat to
game
wear.
session is placed in the
Save.
fleet's home region. So we don't have to set this when we call create game
I
session.
already signed up, but
So we can actually leave
I'm just
that
gonna do
out
this
and
again,
simply call this command
so people don't
up
get my
to
email.
the region, and I'm not including that final caret there. So I'm going to go ahead and paste that and run this command. Now I see that my token has expired and my refresh failed.
Okay, I
So
see
I'm going to
stuff.
have to run my SSO
deal.
login with my profile again.
Good
So
deal.
I'll
I don't know what. I have no idea what's happening right now.
Okay.
I can move. I don't have an avatar.
Uh-huh. Yeah, you probably won't.
I can crash into the ground.
Go ahead
That's
and do
good.
that. I'm going to make
Excellent.
sure that the code matches.
I can fly.
And it does.
Oh, I know where this is. I understand what's going on now.
I'm going to confirm, allow access.
I know what's
And I
going
can
on. I
continue.
remember talking about this.
So now
I'm
that
in a
I'm
game now.
successfully logged in, I'm going to try this again by calling full. I should see in the response a game session object with a status
I'm
set
exploring
to
that
activating.
requirement.
Now I can check from the
I
game
see a
lift
big island in the
console
distance.
going back to my fleet. And if
Don't
I
go
click
very
on
far.
game sessions, and
Hold your-
sometimes
hold
I
your
have to
horses.
refresh, in this case I didn't have to. Here's my game
Like
session
you
ID.
instantly knew what I was going to be
But if I
doing.
take a look at my game session, we actually have
Like, don't fly
an
across the
IP
water,
address
please.
that we can
Stay on
travel
that
to,
starting island.
and we're open
I'm
on
back at
port
the stone. I'm back at the stone, and I
7777.
keep trying to hit shift to
So
go down.
regardless of whether I create a player session
Oh,
or
this is
not,
cool.
I should be able to connect to this server. So I'd like to give that a try. So I'm going to launch my FPS template exe, the client build,
Okay,
and
I'm gonna
attempt
turn the music down a
to
bit, not because
travel
music
to
can
this
hear.
IP address. I'm going to go ahead and simply copy this address and launch the client build. I'm going to hit tilde and type open and paste in that IP
What? Oh, man.
client build. I'm going to hit tilde to travel
Can I
to
interact with
this
this chest?
IP address. I'm going to go ahead and simply copy this address.
Okay, so I need to...
Oh.
hold on, I got to jump
Oh.
into my email real quick so I can connect to my Ready Player Me.
But do I have to go on my email to confirm the Ready Player Me stuff?
Not if you built your character that way.
Okay, it didn't send me anything to this.
I just have a list of avatars to select from. Okay, so then...
I'm gonna stare at this.
so
Look at the,
then I'm going to copy this IP
this is
address.
unreal.
No, this is a product of Unreal.
That's your stone beans.
And launch the
Tell me
client
all
build.
about it. What is the story?
I'm going to hit tilde and type open and paste in that IP address with a
Please me.
colon followed by 4
Whatever
sevens.
runes on the stone.
I'm going to run.
Okay, so then I should go...
So I can walk around this little island, right? That's
Sure.
fine.
Yeah.
But don't leave the island.
Okay, so hit tilde, the tilde,
Okay.
type in open,
Okay.
and then put the IP address I sent you in Discord
Okay.
with a colon
Imagine I should.
4 sevens.
I'm just going to turn off things so I can put that in without people knowing the IP address.
I'm gonna get rid of some.
So open. Okay, so I have the IP address.
So open the IP
Then-
address and then a colon 4 sevens for the port.
And then enter.
Yes. Okay, and now I gotta go to OBS and see if it's actually
Oh,
gonna...
and now it wants me to. Guess I can sign in with Ready Player Me. It reset everything.
Yes. Yeah, because we now connected to the server.
Okay.
Are you doing a window capture for the game? Is that working?
I just
Or did you
did.
do your
I'm
display?
capturing my screen.
Okay.
I'm just capturing my entire other screen.
Yeah. There we go.
Everything will be back once I'm logged in because it wants me to put my email in.
But then it scales it way the heck up. Scale down. Make it fit. Alright. Alright.
Okay, so that stone is all about a colony of penguins, just so you know. So I think this is the third time I'm going to have to create an avatar.
Sweet. Getting your practice in. I did it a ton of times too.
Oh no, my avatar's there. This is the one that
Ah,
this is the one we created before.
it's happening.
Yeah. And I can't select him or anything.
No, he's selected. He selected them, I think.
Okay.
I don't know.
Then what do we do next? I don't know what to do next, Sean. I'm stuck.
Yeah. Yeah. It should detect that we're both here and start.
That command, and I see that I've connected
Okay.
to something.
We've got a character.
It
My
looks
guy's
like
insane. I love him.
we've successfully connected to the server build. Now, again, we're not going to see any player sessions here because creating
Stay
a player
hydrated,
session
everyone.
has to be done through the API, either through the command line interface or through game logic using the GameLift SDK. So even if I refresh here, I'm still not going to see a player session.
Go on
What
your
I
end. I
can
see
do
that you're
is
on
I can
an
attempt
island, and
to
I'm in the
connect to
choose an
this
avatar
with a
phase stage.
second client build. So I'm going to launch fpstemplate.exe a second time, and I'm going to hit tilde, type open, paste the IP, followed by the port, and hit enter.
I get you redeemed
And if I
hydrate
look to
after
my
I already
right,
hydrated.
there's my second instance. I can prove that we're both connected to the same server by doing something like, say, crouching.
Does
By
it
the way,
detect that I'm
crouch
there, Sean?
is the shift key in this game project.
I'm not sure how to check that right now. What are my commands in this case? Is there a question mark? No. Help.
Where can I go with standing mode on the desk for now? I need to be standing up.
Uh-huh. Okay. I've managed to get stuff to pop up. That's a good sign. I don't... There's a lot of...
Yes. Yeah, and someone is tuned into your YouTube, by the way.
Sweet.
Because you're not good at following their checks. You're trying to get things working. Okay. And I see the thing behind my avatar page is not closing. Like if you look at my stream, you'll see what I mean. I can see behind it.
You can't hit select under your character? Like the...
And I have two characters. I
There's the
make a
word
third
select
character.
in front of him, in front of his waist there.
Oh, there we go. Got to fix that GUI. But now I have three of the same person now. Right.
It's a neat feature. Huh.
Yeah, I'm standing in front of the stone.
Well, we don't have bodies, so I can't see that you're there.
How do we get bodies?
That's a good question. It knows one of us is here. Because there's a backpack. See if I do this.
Is this your backpack?
I wonder... Let's see...
It's supposed to be nighttime right now.
Yes.
Time set day.
Oh, I bet it... Oh, I wonder... Can I... Oh! I spawned.
Where?
Ah, I don't have my character on. Damn it. Are you here somewhere?
I'm not. I'm still flying it.
Do the open command again. Just hit tilde and go up and then enter. And then all, and hit the select this time.
Fading. It faded to black. I have one thing I can see. It's all. It's come way too dark. I'm scared.
It knows we're both here. But you can't see me at all. Interesting.
Are you standing in front of it?
Yeah.
I don't even see. I don't even see the light.
Got my backpack.
Turn your light on again.
Oh, the lights aren't replicated. You won't see that.
Oh.
Those are just for ourselves.
How do I turn the light on?
You have to have a body.
Give me a body.
I don't know what I did to make my body come out. Hit tilde twice.
Okay. Not enough players. One expected two.
Yeah, I saw the same message, but then I spawned, so I don't know. I don't know why I'm still spawning.
Currently hanging out at Penguin Plinth. Taken out of that name.
Well, you know, I get to enjoy the sunrise at least.
Well, I can enjoy the sunrise. I'll just fly up above the world, stare at the sun.
Oh, that's too bad. How do I see you?
Either way, this is amazing. I don't have a body, but getting to see this. Game reveal was at 8 p.m. PST. You're perfectly on schedule, Sean.
Nailed it. Right at 8, I was able to get on, and I'm the only one playing. Jeff can't play.
So,
all right, I need to. I don't. Where's this link? Here we go.
this is super cool, though. Like, genuinely.
There, that should work.
Only.
Oh, I just pulled up my stream and I'm not showing the game at all. It's like, I think it's. Wait, why is it not moving my window around? Get out of there. Stop showing Jeff. It doesn't see the window well.
I don't know what to tell you. Can I fly over to the big island now?
Sure.
Let's go. So I should be able to walk around, but that's not working right now for some reason.
Yeah, I'm not. I don't know why you're not spawning. Well, I know why you're not spawning. You're not spawning because it probably isn't rechecking for 2. I think I must have kept the loop out at some point. Because it's checking for 2 players and then it's not rechecking to wait for 2 players. It just fails and then it goes, okay, now what? I don't know why I spawned. That's the part that's blowing my mind.
What if you reconnect? Do you think it'll let me spawn?
Let's try it.
I'm in the middle of a void. It's a really bad idea for me to spawn right now.
Yep, my avatar. Oh, I'm in my avatar now. Haha.
Maybe everyone's favorite time segment, reboot the server. What Jen Stark is saying.
What the heck is going on with... Okay.
I'm almost there, guys. Then we can explore this giant landmass.
So reconnect again, because I've spawned at this point. Or I spawned again, so
Yeah, I did the open command.
our server should... You've got the port, right? 7777?
Yeah. Okay, everything went dark.
Okay, it shows it there. But it's not showing it on there.
Okay, here. Let me double check this. That looks right, based on what you sent me. So if I hit that, you do the same thing.
Do what? Huh?
Reconnect.
Again?
Yeah. And let me select first.
Okay.
Curious what it does. Okay. And then you would have to join.
Yeah, I spawned it. I wonder if I need to give you something in the AWS side of things. Because the server, the client, I shouldn't have to. Because it's not going through my command line. The IP address is out there. We're just connecting the IP address. Interesting.
I'm going to resume my very long fly again.
Okay. I'm just streaming you, apparently. I can't seem to get the game to show.
Whitelist is what Manly says. Am I whitelisted on the server?
I don't think there is a whitelist yet. A specific window. Hey. Yes. Okay, so how about now?
Considering this is like our first attempt, the fact that I'm even in the world at all is not bad. Yeah, I'm just flying. It doesn't recognize that I'm a character, but I can fly around. So I'm just flying to the island that I think we're supposed to show up at. But give me a second here. What I'm going to do. Mini player, and then I can do a pop it, right? And I can do this. And then that's what's happening. Let's show it properly. Yeah. That's what's happening on Sean's screen. Now you can see everything. This is a fun way of streaming.
Oh, you can see it in my stream?
Yeah, I see you just standing there with a light.
I don't know why my studio side is only showing your video. Okay, good. Thank you. I was sitting here troubleshooting this. People are probably like, why are you changing it?
This landmass is very dark.
Because it's dawn, baby. That's why I got a light.
I don't have a light.
Well, you got to have a body. You just want so many things.
Hilda.
Look at all these backpacks.
Yeah. Body. I think the command give me a body didn't work.
Give me body. I need the command for give me body. So then I'm going to jump into this portal and fall onto the water. Just going to head off in this direction over here.
Oh, just like I did.
Oh, yeah, that's the plan. Oh, look at that cave. I haven't found a cave yet since I made the light spell, so this might be fun. And it's not like a good spell, I'll be honest. It's not in the ability system. It's just something that lit up so that I could actually make it so we could see under the cave.
I think I'm inside the cave you're about to go into.
Ooh,
Spoilers.
little preview.
Except yours looks way better than mine. Or maybe not. But mine looks. What are all these like egg-like things in here?
Eggs, huh?
I mean, it's just black for like everything is shadows.
Yeah, because you're underground. What would you
Oh, I know.
expect?
I get that. I'm just explaining. I can't see anything. So
I'm also missing now. And then I turn my light back on. I'm like, oh, hey. There's like, oh, those are rocks. They're weird looking rocks.
isn't there like a command I can use?
In the ground. To turn on a light that's not on a body you have?
Yeah.
No, you can't. You can't turn the light on because you're not rocking a body. It's a limit.
Look at you. Look at you bouldering.
It's a limit. You can't light things without a body. Okay.
But also, I can't see your light because it's just one way.
Yeah. Well, but you can't see my body either, so something else is.
It would be so perfect if I could see your body, and then we could somehow reverse this, where you're flying around me while I'm exploring. That would be like the perfect way this first instance would be. Either way, this is super cool.
I've now committed to this cave. I want to get out of the cave. It's time to leave the cave.
Bet you wish you could fly.
I do wish I could fly. You've got quite the advantage.
I see so many ways out.
Which one should I take? Ooh. Ooh, I'm in the ground.
I go through the tiny one. I can go through the super tiny one. I'm free.
Oh, man.
Even the surface is just shadows.
Yeah, because it's still early in the morning. The sun's moving right now. It's so each session is a whole day. So you start in the dawn, and then the sun will set by the end of the day. The game continues into the night. You'll find out what that's like later.
Noted. I will add a quote box for next stream. So you can add the quote, I need to see your body, MythberryTV 2025.
Deal.
Because there will be a lot of good quotes to add.
I think so. That sounds like a good way to go.
I know it's not meant to be seen from like above, so I'm trying not to fly too high above the land.
Well, with this as dark as it is, you probably won't understand much. But I appreciate that.
But like I can see a giant mountain in the distance. I want to go exploring so badly.
Well, stay low to the ground and go.
Okay. Everyone just pretend I have a body in them.
Ooh, I picked up some wood.
Ooh, inventory system. Show it.
So I've got
Look
this
at that.
nice little wood log here, and I got another little wood log. Apparently there's 0 of this wood log. That's probably not a good thing.
It's fine. Oh, I got stuck on a rock. We're going down. I see something glowing.
Ooh. Is it me?
I wish. How can I just climb up here? I'm gonna pretend that we. Oh, it's like a plinth. It's Penguin Plinth 2.0. Should there be one out here?
Yeah, that one actually takes you back to the spawn island.
Ah.
If we were both running around and needed anything to compete over, I was gonna say, all right, whoever takes the most wood back gets the win.
Mm.
So there's some of those stones out here that we can use to teleport back as we want to return our gear.
In my case, I would just connect.
You'll just-
Well, that's referred to as the Great Penguin Expansion. So the penguins expanded and put plinths all over the island so that they were just conquering it.
Ah, the conquer of the penguins. Is that what
So-
the emperor penguins?
That would make sense. That would make sense.
Dang it, didn't get over the edge.
To go back into the idea of the inventory a little bit, because she kind of just showed it. Do you want to talk a little bit about how it's supposed to work?
Yeah, so it's very much inspired by the Resident Evil style inventories, because it's kind of a mini game in itself. Since our game is built around the idea of the early parts, so you've got the morning into the day, which will be primarily more calm. The world is more peaceful. This is where a lot more of the cooperation shows up, because it's about gathering stuff, building more interesting things, and gathering stuff or crafting other things to escape from here with. And so, as a part of that, going around and picking up the inventory, went with a sort of Tetris-y block system, so that you have a bit more interest as you're going, but there's a couple different layers to that. So within your stats, your number of blocks will change depending on which stats are in which, I forget which stat exactly, but then the density of your stacks can also change. So like this one, you can see there's 4. I'm gonna throw it out there. Now there's some wood floating around in the air. Oh, I can't go get it. I'll find more wood.
Floats around.
I'll have to go find more wood. That's fine. Well, originally I'd set it up so that it would drop on the ground, and then I realized that I didn't want it to be throwable. Like, that wasn't the goal. So I was trying to mitigate abusive gameplay, as it were.
I agree. I like how the stats have such a dynamic influence on things.
And every stat kind of comes back around a few times, so there's quite the versatility to the builds that comes out of it. Actually, I should probably find some wood. It's hard to see at the night time.
Pretty sure it's just a tree, but I totally thought there was like a seagull on top of this mountain. I got so excited.
You made a seagull! No, not yet. No seagulls yet.
Do the stats carry between runs? That's a good question.
The stats, for the most part, there are stats that do carry between runs. Yes.
It's like you have your main character stats, but then you have like run-specific stats.
Yeah, in the run itself. So if you were to think in terms of like a D&D type thing, in the run itself, it's more along the lines of like MOBAs, right? So you're going to be going from level 1 to 20 throughout the match, and then the stuff that you accomplish in the match, specifically the things you escape with usually, are going to be then more persistent and shape the next run based on what comes out.
It's standing on top of a mountain looking at the world is just so beautiful.
I'm glad you think so.
Everything light touches his mind.
I wasted a lot of time doing that.
The light touches nothing. There's no light. So, in theory, it's supposed to be like really early morning, right?
Yes. Yeah, and that's part of the early part of the day. Again, daytime is going to be more calm. The things that you interact with are more in the lines of friendly and informative, as well as quest giving. And then as the day progresses, it gets more hostile into the nighttime, which of course, as you would imagine, is a bit more terrifying, because then everyone's reduced to their beautiful little light spell. But that's when the world becomes a bit more hostile and the rewards get a bit more interesting. And so it becomes that gamble of risk reward. Do I rush into the night hoping that I can survive it, but also walk away with something stronger than somebody else had? And then there's a lot of social availability built in too. So like when we get to the part where you get to see like spells and stuff, the spells available in every match are based on what spells are known by the people playing that match. So there's layers of like, it'll take a while to unlock everything. And in some places, like, it'll be a bit more of probably a guild effort to try and get there.
Beans asks, how long is each day?
Each one is 45 minutes. But you're not looking for a portal that exists. You actually will be building your portal in the beginning because it's kind of the central thing that you're going to be working around throughout the match. So it's very much meant for you to, like, honestly, it's meant for people like Jeff and I who go and start a match, and then 5 minutes in, our kid comes walking in saying they, threw up or whatever. So we're like, okay, cool. We exit, and then we get what we got so far, and it's not a big deal, and the match continues for everybody else. Or stick it out, try to survive, and hope like hell no one gets you, because that's gonna happen at some point. Give me that rock.
Preacher meet choir. I got what Joe said. Always risk it for the biscuit.
Yeah, that's how we roll.
Greed is good. We learned that in Vault Hunters.
Yeah. And so this is a nice little forest up here.
Yeah, so phasing through rocks is a thing.
Yeah, some of them have bad collisions. That was actually one of the things I mentioned earlier. I need to work on some collisions.
Yeah.
I found a fast way to get collisions in there. It's not a good way, so...
You were trying to get a lot done so we could show it off. As people can tell, this has been a passion project for clearly a long time to get even just this far.
Yes. And this has been... And most of it, like, I spent so much of my time learning how to do things in games and learning how to do things in Unreal specifically, and then learning C++, which is a whole nother thing. It's like a whole language. It's crazy.
Yeah. It is so cool, Sean, says Choden Breeder.
Oh, thanks, buddy.
And he says, you must be so proud.
I'm feeling pretty good right now. This is awesome. It'd be nice if Jeff was running around, but we'll make sure that happens before next week.
So let's talk a little bit about what the gameplay loop actually looks like. Like, what's going on here?
Okay, so every time you come into this world, you're going to come in, and as I said early on, it's going to be pretty light and breezy. So you're going to be collecting some wood, collecting some stone, and then starting to work up your portal. Your portal is your exit. So it's like the main building of your entire purpose here is the I'm going to leave building. So your way out. And then as you build up these materials, there's going to be other materials. And eventually you're going to be working your way up to building an actual weapon. The lore behind it is that the weapons themselves are the only thing that can carry the magic off the plane. So the magic wood, or the wood that we get, won't leave with you. It's useless outside of this world. And then on top of that, there's a background of sort of political drama that gets played out with the... What's a good way to put that, Jeff? The sort of governing houses of the universe.
Yeah, that works.
Yeah, and that political drama is also reflected as you play through the game. So, picking up the wood, I'll give you a little tease. When you pick up the wood, you can recycle it because you're cleaning the plane, and you're specifically clearing up some of the debris. You'll get some minor points with the Arborant house. These are the tree people, as it were. Ooh, there was some wood. And then I opened up my thing, and now I'm hitting all the wrong buttons. There we go. And so that's where the houses are the ones that you're going to be unlocking a lot of the passive abilities. So there's active abilities and passive abilities. Your active abilities are tied to your weapons. These are ones that you can trade around a little bit more, kind of customize based on what you want to go do. Say, Jeff and I have been planning for a week that we're going to make sure that a nice giant mountain generates so that we can fight the monster that appears on top. And that way, and then we'll come in with a couple weapons because we know what we want to do here is going to be very combat oriented. And then on top of that, we want to make sure that there's seasons to it. So throughout the year, the different things that work will shift based on what's more popular in the sort of seasonal frame. So like, for example, fire spells will be stronger in the summertime. Not by a ton, but by enough to make it incentivized. But they'll also have a lower energy produced by their portal, which has its other effects to it. So there's a give and take to playing on season versus off season, and then the teamwork that comes out of that is, of course, then you can leverage the strengths of both without having to deal with the fact that you have some weaknesses, and you can kind of cover for each other. And then you'll exit the match, presumably before you get the backpack that you pick up is going to be your biggest, like your primary asset. While you're running around the match, because there's quite a bit for you to do, there's a mechanic for you to basically hire some help. The help has your face, so you're going to have clones of yourself that run around and do some minor, some of the tasks for you, so you can kind of work two prongs simultaneously of the gameplay. And then when the one you're running with, should he be say maybe attacked by a monster or something, and he's dropped, he will respawn, but you'll have to go get that backpack, because that's the main thing that you want to make sure you can get stuff off the plane. If you don't have anything to exit the plane, it kind of looks like you've wasted your time. And depending on the house that you're working for, they'll have some sort of narrative reason or narrative judgment that they can apply based on what you're doing. As an example, if you're here on behalf of the House Arborant, since we brought them up earlier, then you're primarily going to be measured by how much you clean up the plane, because they're obviously very nature oriented. And versus if you were with another one that's maybe more business oriented and wants to just try and make profits.
I think it sounds awesome, but I'd love to hear what other people think so far. And yes, I would be very wary of Baby Beans clones. Too many of them.
Yeah,
I need the Arborant, so I can clean up the plane of other characters. Does that work? Would they reward me for getting rid of everyone else?
I keep falling further down. I mean, I don't know. Probably.
Will there be PvP elements?
Yes.
The game.
PvP actually starts roughly at nighttime. So that's one of the things that increases the hostility of the world. Is that after a while, those with the sixth element alignment, which is Shadow, will come in and be antagonists to whoever remains. And their rewards are based on how many people they essentially chase off from the... Oh, I should not be up here.
Wizard Tarkov confirmed. That is what it's being called.
I'm on the ceiling. There's...
Interesting.
95% sure I programmed it to know when I'm on the ceiling and not let this happen, but that's okay. See if we can come back around the side. Yeah! Oh man, I'm the best boulderer ever! That was amazing.
So, that's actually a really good comparison, Maple Waffle. Like Tarkov. Sean, you know what Tarkov is? The game?
I'm not that familiar with Tarkov.
Okay.
Feel free to fill me in a little bit on that.
So I'm not like incredibly familiar with it, but I've seen a bit of it and I've heard a bit about it as well. I think it's a very similar concept, but not as like hardcore. So things are very recoverable, and you're working towards improving a state overall in the world through it. So it's not exactly the same.
Okay.
But I'm saying ours is not exactly the same as Tarkov, but Tarkov is a very good like base point in terms of what it would be like.
Okay, I'll have to check that one out.
Yeah, there's a few good like content creators around it.
Climbing the mountain.
Yeah, it's an extraction shooter. It's the genre that is considered.
Yeah, the extraction games I think are going to grow in popularity anyway, but
Yeah,
it depends on where the industry decides to go. I am hoping that as we do some of our streams, that we can start, similar to what Thor does, I suppose, try and encourage more people to get into the indie game world, because gaming needs it, guys. Go make games.
Yeah.
That's what they say.
I agree. So, how long until the world is not just black?
I don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
you're not spawning, so maybe there's some replication stuff I still don't have right. Things I gotta figure out. Oh man, I fell down so far. The reason I fell is because I don't have air control. So if I start sliding past a wall, it's not gonna start climbing yet because it's waiting for me to have acceleration. And since I am falling downward, I don't. So I gotta work on that.
So most extraction shooters focus more on the shooters themselves.
Right.
So will there be a social space outside of the main worlds? That's an interesting question.
I have, in order to keep the scope into something realistic, maybe not. But this was a big reason why we really liked going with Ready Player Me off the bat, was because we do want a lot of persistence outside of the matches, and it's easy enough to connect that through sort of code downloads in between games. And then if you had the same avatar creator attached to each one, then we make that metaverse where you're rocking that same character with those same persistent sort of achievements and things in a different light. Jeff and I have stupid numbers of lists of things that we want to work on. So
can I pull back that curtain a little bit?
Sure.
And talk about like the concept?
Yeah.
The scope of what we originally thought of for this game was so much bigger than what made sense. And we realized that some of that scope was like literally full on secondary games. And that's where the concept of like, what if we built a series of games that were interconnected came to be. So kind of the dream is that we build something like this, and then as time allows and as this one hopefully gains traction, then the next one can be built that connects in and focuses on some of the things that this one requires for better purposes. But that interconnection, and I know Sean mentioned metaverse, and that's like a big taboo thing in the tech world these days, or like all the time, but the idea is like this massive universe of interconnected character and stuff, and all of the things that you do in one, you could be benefiting from it in another one, a guild or something across all of them to make it a very social interaction. That's kind of like the big dream. What that looks like, we have ideas. But first we have to, build the initial game.
Start the foundation.
Exactly. Beans has some gamer questions.
All right.
Is there fall damage?
Not yet. There's no health. I mean, yeah, I have health, but it's not exposed.
Is the intent to have fall damage?
There will be fall damage.
Will fire hurt?
Some people.
In terms of the space to get ready before
Hey, Dan.
you enter a game, that is kind of that little island we were on before, right?
No, that island is kind of the surrogate for that menu, because there is a lot in menus that have to get put into place to make sure that we have those different transition worlds. So right now I've been building the starter island so that Jeff and I have a place where we can outfit ourselves for our streams, and it makes a nice cohesive narrative to follow. But when you're outside the matches, you'll have sort of a character equipment sort of screen to work with, where you can
So I
pick
guess
the builds you have and stuff.
it's gonna be like organize yourselves outside of the game initially, tools like Discord and other guild type things,
Yeah,
and possibly down the line that could be a feature that we add in to allow in-game setup of stuff.
absolutely. I mean, you'll be able to in the matches themselves. You'll also have that's where you're going to learn a lot of the stuff that you want to put into your build. So you'll be exploring the map to get those things. Weird little crevice. And so you'll be able to change your build throughout the game, but what you come in with initially will be more of like just that, like I said, a sort of locker equipment screen where you select what you want to work with based on what you've unlocked so far.
Big Faces asks, will there be bosses that you encounter in the world?
Yes, lots of them. Stupid ones
And
too, like ones that I don't know that people will figure out. I'm really dumb like that.
and they won't always be there. There's
no.
going to be conditions for them to spawn, and that's one of those mysteries that it'll be up to the players to discover how you spawn those, and that's part of the social aspect of the game.
Yeah, like for example, like this mountain peak. The top mountain peak. There's definitely a boss that can spawn there if there's a top mountain peak, but the peaks might not be that tall.
Yeah, and they have to get tall enough.
Exactly. Which, as you can see, can take a while to climb.
And we are so happy to have you here, Big Faces. Thank you for joining. This is our first debut of this. We haven't shown it. This is my first time entering the game. I'm so happy. I'm also, Maple, I'm glad you like the idea of an exploration extraction game instead of just like a PvP one. And then he says, one thing is that often extraction games have an inventory outside of the game. So as a player, I get to see my progress over time with items.
Yes, that's going to be in the weapons themselves. So like I said before, the weapons are the things that you ultimately work to craft in the matches. And those are the things that you can actually exit with that have, a prestige to be measured against with the houses and stuff. And that collection is what you can see outside the game as you're growing. Because that collection's also the one that's going to have the links to all the active sort of spells. So if you want to collect all the fire spells, you'll have a list of weapons that all have the different fire spells on them and things like that.
Yeah. So the weapons are your progress.
Yeah.
Jen Stark says your map generation looks pretty impressive compared to the screenshots you last showed.
Yeah, I've been working really hard this week.
I feel like it looks very black, and I'd like some color in it.
I mean, that's fair. We just need to get that sun to come up. It doesn't seem like it wants to. Just like you're not joining, so I don't know. How I'm running. I don't know what the anomaly is. Me running around or you not running around? I can't figure out which one's right.
That's fair. We'll get there.
Yeah, it's way better than all the white cones. That was lame. Get me up. Yeah, we'll have to. Maybe we'll just start it earlier in the day or later in the day next time, so there's light. Or it'll work right because we'll know how to connect you properly.
Yeah. Do you want to do where you just set it up and stream to me on Discord, and I can, or on your stream, and I can screen share your stream?
Yeah, since you can't really see much.
Yeah, because then we can show a little bit more in depth of what things look like.
Yeah.
That's a really good idea, Big Faces.
So you're not going to see the... Darn it.
Yeah. There's next week for all the little surprises you have hidden for me.
Yeah, fair enough. Because somewhere out
Like
there, there's a wanted board, and we're on it.
Like, this is absolutely phenomenal, and I'm so happy that I got to just play it around, even though it was just flying around. But I think being able to show off what things look like when the light actually works is really valuable, because some of that stuff is absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah, I'll This week I'll definitely make sure that there's an interface so I can change that while we're in the game.
Yeah.
If I changed it now, I'd have to repackage the build and get it all uploaded again.
Yeah, we don't have time for that. So why don't we set it up so that you can show what it looks like, and I'll follow the stream.
Like that one? You want the
Oh, you could just do it on your YouTube. I'll just.
Oh, okay.
Or we could do this too. I don't want to use up all your resources.
Yeah, do the
I'm assuming the only way to exit is Alt F4.
Probably. I've never opened the client, so this is also exciting. Ooh, the sun is coming up. Look, it's getting reddish up here. Oh. 45 minutes is a long time, guys.
I got that back up. We're just looking at here.
I'm reddish on the backside now.
You are.
It's happening. It's happening. The sun will come up.
Do you have a way to speed up time?
No, not yet. I will make sure all that stuff is available.
Got it. So that we'll be able to showcase things better.
Yeah. Oh, look at that. I got to the top of the mountain just at sunrise. How lovely. Now,
We will definitely be looking for people that want to do player tests. That's something that I have a thing to set up for, is getting a little beta test request newsletter list going, so that anyone who's interested, we can get you guys to sign up, and then we can email you when it is feasible and ready. We'll try and get that in the next couple weeks.
yeah.
I don't want to rush it. I want to make sure we do it correctly so that we have it properly connected and we can actually follow up with people.
Good call. I'll go towards the sun so we can see some light. Hey.
So why did we choose 45 minutes for the length?
To try and encompass everything we wanted. I wanted a nice period of time for those that didn't want to do PvP, and then of course plenty of time for those that do, so that we can have a little bit of both. But then it's also a nice chunk if you're devoting to some of the bigger stuff. So we mentioned bosses before. There are bosses that only come out after you've done a number of things. So it will take time to get there, and we just have to have that 45 minutes available to us.
Apparently most extraction games run 30 or 45-minute raids, so we're right on the money with the timer.
In your face.
I think the timing is fine, but how long it stays dark, we might want to play with. That early morning darkness.
Well, you know, I'm going to be honest. Part of that is because it's winter right now.
Oh,
The day length changes based on the year, the time of the year.
that makes so much sense.
So,
Like real life.
yes. So, summertime, you probably won't see darkness much. And then wintertime, you'll probably be using your light spell from time to time.
I love how obvious that is, but you don't think about it in a game.
Yeah. And the weirdest thing is how simple it was for me to code. like, oh, this is like working in Sheets, this part. All right, cool. There's literally a today feature. You just plug it into some stuff and it starts generating the way you want. Oh, okay.
Is it by IRL seasons, or how often do seasons change in game? Asks Beans.
Every 72 days. So technically in IRL. But there's 5 seasons if you do the math. 72 days each.
So I love all the questions you guys are asking. Thank you so much for engaging. Yes, Penguin season, the 5th season. The season system is one of the things I am most excited about in this game, because it has so many pieces to it, and when it actually connects and all the little aspects to it, I'll be so excited for when it is fully working. But we'll talk more about that when we have the other features working.
Yeah. Trying to get into the light so we can see again.
So was it worth the wait to see this? Because it did take a while to get the stream going.
I mean, I really enjoyed hanging out with these people.
Same. Oh, look, the light hit the trees. You just decide to look down when I say that. Look at the light hit the trees. Let me look at the ground.
Yeah, check it out.
Just say the climbing mechanic is so smooth considering how little time you've put into like actually working on it so far. Yes, you're not properly adhering to the services and stuff, but you've like a week and a half.
In that version of it.
Yeah.
I tried procedural rigs for a while. That was one day I'm gonna make a really good procedural rig. It's almost there, but it's it might not be ready for this game, but it will be sold on the marketplace when it's there.
Beams at Gen Stark. How you can tell someone's from BC without saying they're from BC. He calls you a tree hugger when you're climbing a tree.
Nice. Yep. That sums it up well.
Yeah. There we go. Now we're starting to see the terrain.
Yeah, you gotta let the sun come up, man.
I was just impatient.
Yeah. Waiting for the day. Let's see if I can find something now that I can see.
Apparently, the West Coast Canadians are connecting in my chat.
Excellent. Excellent. What about...
But now I'm curious, if I try and rejoin the game, what's going to happen?
Alright, I'll try it. Server's growing into daytime, so maybe something good.
Or I just like ruin the whole thing.
Yeah, I like to take the gamble. I'm cool with that.
Obviously, I just wanted it to work somehow magically.
I mean, I spawned. I don't know why you're not spawning and I am.
But right.
Yeah, I mean, you can fly around and see things now.
Gotta make your window smaller again.
Man,
will there be a UI, or are we going more hardcore look without?
I really, okay, so I love the way Dead Space includes the UI in the character to make things really subtle, but yet present. I don't know. I've got a few designs that I'm working on to see where it's going to land best. I like minimal UI personally, but it depends on how much we want to make sure we're displaying because of what needs to be in there. I think I found a way to make all that stuff fit in the right spots so that we can keep it pretty low key.
I'm pretty sure I am not connected to the same game as you.
That's interesting.
Because when I connect, it's starting out morning again, but you're not in morning. At least that gives us a target of what's going on.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, because I just have eternal darkness. Like, whoa, with that darkness just got so much worse too. Like,
yeah, if you
it was
get too far
bad.
from the skylight, it gets bad. Okay, well then, before I sign off, I'm gonna try and reconnect it and see if I go to the same server. Because that means you're on your computer still. You're still local. Because there's no other server running. So like, you're either on this one or you're local. For some reason, you're still on the local side. So I wonder.
Would we think it like 3 health potions on your belt being a health bar that drains or something? Oh,
No, health is a stat. It's so.
I think he's talking about like the visual aspect of it, like how we'd
Oh.
represent that.
Yeah, something along those lines, definitely. The idea that your character is representing the thing. So a lot of it might end up in the backpack, because I know you can't see a backpack on my back, but I'm wearing one.
We have a big backpack thing in this.
It's a hefty channel point of a lot of mechanics. But it would be something like that. So like, yeah, three potions on the hanging off the side of the backpack, and depending on how full they are is where your health is. Things like that is where my head's at when it comes to the low end of design or low UI. Because I really want you to feel like you're connecting with the world. That's been a big part of it, and all the different screenshots that I've been sharing with my brother and Jeff and stuff. It was often just like, oh, look, I made a really pretty tree. Because what I want to feel is I don't know, when Valheim came out, it came out during COVID, and I found the nature side of it really rewarding since we weren't allowed to leave. And I really liked that connection to the world that it had in the beginning. So that's one big part of the daytime in my game that I want, is that feeling of like, I'm wandering around the forest and having a good time. It's great. Maybe I forage for some mushrooms or run away from a wolf. I don't know. We'll see what happens. And then there's lots of big plans for under here, like a big scary monster to kill Jeff next time he plays.
Sean, dude, check out my white cones.
Yeah. Those white cones were generating really nice, though. Okay.
If it makes you feel any better, he sent me the same screenshots. He got very excited about those white cones.
The learning process.
They were exciting. They genuinely were. Because it was showing that things were generating and spreading out properly instead of all just in one spot. Like, it was actually exciting to see, knowing what they were supposed to represent. Yeah. I'm in total darkness, so that's good to know. Just gonna alt
I found the light.
See, this is super cool. He's underground right now.
I'm in the ground now.
But the sun is shining through.
Silly beaches.
Like, I just like silly beaches. But because of the delay on the stream, it was like perfectly timed with it as it happened.
Nailed it.
Ugh.
Much more light now. There we
Yeah.
go. And everything's still very saturated because it's the morning light, so it's actually very yellow. As the day progresses, the grass is actually quite green. Most of the ground is. The yellow is hiding that. Do, do, do.
Good swimming.
I swim like Jesus. Don't judge me.
Terrible.
The funny thing was, as I was working on this today, I found out that in the editor, where I've been testing most things, the light is super blown out for some reason. Don't know why. But the water looks terrible because I've been trying to diminish how much it's glowing, because in the editor, it seems to glow.
But in reality, it doesn't.
It does not. So now I've just made gray page.
I want to just point out how beautiful the rocks look now that it's not just all black.
And like, I didn't even unpack the UVs for the land masses. Those are still fill-ins. You can't tell, but
Well, I can see some of the replication in some of the rock forms, right?
yeah, that's because there's also only one tile. Later on, there'll be multiple tiles that take over those areas.
Oh yeah, Alex's avatar is amazing. So much better than mine. which was nothing. I was an embodiment of shadow.
I got to go Boulder this week to do some research. That was a blast.
It's nothing like you.
Looks everything like me.
Looks like what you want to be.
Yeah, it looks like what I would be if I ran around a world all the time.
Fair enough. Residual self-image.
We all have to have goals to aspire to, okay?
So I think the final answer on will there be UI is as minimal as possible for the UI side.
I think so. I think so. That's my objective. We'll see what we can get away with.
If people are leaving chat messages on YouTube, I'm not able to see those because of how the stream is open. So hopefully Sean is looking at them. I don't know if anyone's messaging there or not. But I've been answering questions over on the Twitch side.
Yeah, Zach's over on YouTube. My boy Zach.
I'll have to get it where the chat for both shows up.
Yeah, we're going to put some time into OBS this week so that we're a bit more ready with that part.
I think I've got it looking decent. I mean, right now I have the stream overlapping our faces, but it's because I want to see more of you exploring.
You could have left it at you. That was nice. And my light's becoming less effective because it's glowing enough.
Oh, cool. I mean, it should be more effective right now, but yeah.
Well, but it's also got a low range on purpose.
Yeah.
Because there's going to be other abilities. See, now that the sun's coming up, the water seems to glow more. It's probably, I think it's messing with the fog or something. I don't know what's making it glow. I got to figure that out. At the same time, they suggest that you go ahead and just use the water plugin. But last time I did that, it tried to freak out my project. So I was like, maybe we'll try that later.
Those shadows are terrifying. Coming off of you from your little light source.
Yeah.
You just fall down a hole. Looks like the world is on fire.
That's called dawn. Welcome.
Hopefully next time I'll be playing with you.
Yes.
That would be sweet.
We'll figure it out. We'll figure this out.
I'm off this week too, so nuclear dawn. That's definitely what I would call that.
Ooh. Oh, too slanted.
So it's climb right now, just press and hold space.
No, you have to be in the air. So jump into it. And you have to have acceleration towards the wall.
Okay.
So that's why if I start falling down and then end up next to a wall, I don't have any acceleration towards the wall, so it won't start climbing.
Yeah, the matrix jump animation's nice. It's fun.
Come on. Get over that edge. There we go. That's root motion right there, folks.
Really struggling with those tiny ledges there.
Yep. Well, it's one of the... So I find this is like super weird, but basically At some point, they added in root motion, which essentially lets your animation drive where your character is. And when they did that, they stopped making animations just stand in place. So like now I can hit an animation that moves forward, and then my character will automatically know to move forward. But by definition, there's a bit of a circular dependency in there. And so there's times where it doesn't know how to process that because it's kind of doing both.
Massive mountain, hold my root beer. Tiny lip, nope. The weird, like, matrix stuff that's happening behind you when you are up against a wall is hilarious. Like the images of yourself.
Yeah. Ugh. Up we go. Oh, there she is.
Oh.
My big tree. I better stay on the higher ground.
Will stamina affect climbing ability?
Yes. I think you're going to be able to hang, and stamina won't regenerate. But if you are climbing, it will diminish. And then the cost of that is also something that bounces against one of your stats. So there's different ways to be better at climbing.
Like climbing faster versus having more stamina
Yes.
versus magic.
Yeah. Yeah. There's always the magic option. Better go for it. How far down do we go? Oh, not so bad. It's a nice little ravine. Oop, oop, oop. We're going down. Ah, that lip.
Needs a water bucket.
Yeah. Well, and for generation purposes, I won't have that lip anyway, because for it to map the grass onto the plane, that lip allows it to hang over the edge sometimes. So there's little things that I have to tweak in all those land masses, but it's hard to know what those little things are before you generate them. So since this week was the first time they've all been put together, I now get to see all those edges and have a nice, healthy list of bugs to go fix someday.
So 100% possible to pull a beans. For those wondering, is falling down and just taking the hit of fall damage and walking like nothing happened.
Oh yeah. We gotta be able to pull the beans.
We should put as an achievement, pull the beans.
I mean, spoilers. I plan on having achievements for everybody I know.
If you have an achievement that you want, let us know.
Yeah, I mean, there's lore in here for my D&D party that never finished. Like, there's. I like this stuff, and I'm gonna put it in the game somewhere.
The idea of liking mysteries and hiding things, achievements feel like the right place to do that.
Yeah.
And it's the place where you can go and do silly things. The beans, falling and surviving with 1 HP. Not a charge for that early support or bonuses.
I won't be able to jump off of this. This isn't a good idea.
You have a good point. It's a way of earning revenue. But if we at one point we were debating if we wanted to try and do a Kickstarter with this, and that is some of the stuff that we had considered with the monetization of it. But we don't want this to be a game that feels like we're just trying to nickel and dime everything out of it. That's not what our goal is with it.
No, we have much loftier goals.
Yeah.
A lot of it around how much everyone can win. That's the sort of general premise that we run with. It's not about how much we can win. It's about how much everyone can win and what we can do to help that. Stop getting stuck on these rocks. There we go.
Yes. If we went Kickstarter, we would have a complete gameplay loop to be able to showcase. If we even went there, we're probably more likely just going to be doing the early access style thing, and we have ideas on how to create revenue streams earlier for people who want to support. Because we do know some people want to, but we also don't want to just allow that. But the other thing is we are streaming Minecraft and stuff for quite a while. We had a previous business, so we have some revenue that our other business partners agreed to allow us to invest into this. So we're not starting at nothing, but we're also not starting at a lot.
Yep. Yeah, this is very much a grassroots project.
Yeah. Basically, we have a small marketing budget when it comes time to market. I think that's the way to put it.
I've collected so much wood.
So not backers, but backers. When did you collect the wood? I haven't even seen wood on the ground. Can you point it out next time?
I know, that's the fun part.
Just like walking by and just collecting it.
It's around here somewhere. I mean, it's hard to see. Once I get near it, I pick it up. But that's part of it. It's not. I mean, I have.
Sean just running around climbing rocks with a bag full of sticks.
Yeah. What else do you do in a game? It's like every survival game for the first 100 hours.
Don't worry, it won't just be sticks. There will be lots of other things.
There'll be rocks and flowers. It'll be great.
Beans, every kid's dream. Just running around climbing rocks with a bag full of sticks.
Honestly, my daughter's favorite thing is to play this game right now. There's nothing. She thinks she's gonna find something. I keep telling her there's nothing in it yet. She's like, I'm gonna go explore that. I'm like, okay, there's still nothing in it. Okay.
She doesn't understand that you created everything.
Yeah.
Oh man, what is that tree?
It's a big one. It's a biggins. Now I gotta work my way back up.
I think that's the tree that I thought was a seagull, everyone.
Ooh, there's a stone.
Oh, there's going to be so many Easter eggs all over the place in this game. Don't you worry.
Yeah.
There are we have Easter eggs planned that are so convoluted to find that no one's ever going to see them, but they're there.
Yep. Like, are you familiar with turkey vulture tag? Or I don't know. There's probably a ton of different types of tag like that. But the kind of tag game where you like hide, but you have to visually see the person who's it. Right? So there's that kind of like on the edge that you have to play. That's the kind of thing I really I'm looking forward to in achievements, where it's like there's achievements that are really easy to get, and no one knows to try and get them.
Oh. They're recommending that you load the monster in and don't tell your daughter.
Oh, absolutely. My plan is next time Jeff's in, he's gonna have the monster and not know.
And have no combat.
Yeah.
So that's not implemented. There's a monster, so it's just run away.
Yeah, weapons are not coming before monsters. Don't worry.
Yeah, your daughter's the main playtester.
Yep. Yeah, she
tells you all the things that go wrong.
It's actually one of her like sort of courses right now. She's practicing her writing and her feedback. But it mainly the big one is that I rarely get, or she rarely gets the opportunity to correct Dad very well because she's usually wrong. She's a kid, and so this is a place where it's like, Dad did everything. A lot of it's wrong. Please help me. Like, and so she has to take notes and write things down. The first time that she did, I sat down with her notes, and this was a little bit ago, and so like nothing was spelled right, but I pretty easily put it together and noticed that she had like these beautiful little diagrams. So, for example, these little hills that are on the water. Some of them have grass on top of them, but originally the grass went down under the water. And so she drew me this diagram of a little hillside with grass and grass that goes under the water and arrows saying no grass underwater.
Yeah.
And then she put another note saying something like up is down, down is up. And I was like, oh, that's what's wrong with the camera. And then I knew what to fix. So right off the bat, it's been quite helpful.
Will a Lion King have put the monster in the dark place where she is forbidden to go?
You're assuming there's only one monster.
No, it's forbidden. It's just scary.
Yeah, it's just riskier. All right, is this an edge?
She does seem to have a knack for the trouble, like finding the bugs and explaining what's going on.
Yeah, she's really good at that stuff. But then she talks about Minecraft and how she's doing hacks, and I'm like, no, that's a bug, not a hack. So, some of the verbiage is there.
You're trying to get up to that big tree.
I am, but my beaches or my hillsides are a little difficult to climb.
It's because they float.
Yep, yeah. Well, I was, they're a single shape at the moment. I wanted to make sure there were caves, so that's what we have at the moment. But
yeah.
That's where there will be different tiles down the road, and ones that have a gap and ones that don't, so that there's actually realistic climbable surfaces. Again, I've had this climbing mechanic in and functional for about a week now, and I was spending most of the week trying to get the hands to stick to stuff. So we'll make sure the world and the climbing go together a little better soon.
I've made a stand.
Yeah, this area is all caveage. That looks like a rock I can climb. Let's see if I can do that one.
I believe. Because I really want to see that.
You want to see my tree?
Yeah.
My tree?
Yeah. I want to see the seagull again.
Yeah. Going up. Oh, that's a lip. Damn it.
Oh, I did miss that question.
Oh, what?
Will stealth be viable as a strategy, or do players always have to fight?
Oh, stealth is definitely viable as a strategy. That's a big part of, and applying it in two different ways. One, in the PvE form, because you want to make sure that stealth is fun to play, even if you don't want to play PvP. But two, the PvP side of things is where I think stealth is going to have some real interest to it, because you're going to be wanting to sneak up on other players, of course.
What about as like an evasion tactic?
Oh yeah, yeah. There's yes. I'm gonna say yes. Without saying
so yes,
much more. Yes, stealth will definitely be a viable option.
So a lot of our goal, and balancing all of this is going to be very difficult. We understand that, but a lot of the goals is to make it that any mechanic has like several different ways to be used, not just this is how you use it. Like, I know fireball is an easy offensive attack. That's what its intended purpose is. But you can also potentially use it to light up a pathway so you can see what's in that cave before you enter it. Things like that. Where it's like, what other methods can you use these different abilities and try and be open to any possibility to it so that players can play the way they want to. because the character creation and the way you build your skills and your stats is going to be highly customizable.
Exactly. Get up on top of this. Get me up that rock. Get me on that rock. It's leaning back too far. He's like, nah, I don't want to climb that. Okay, no, no, not that side. That side's mean. Okay. I was on it. There we go. We got it. We found an edge. Let's do this.
Definitely blinded by the light there.
Yeah, our future's really bright, buddy. Dun, 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 dun. Look at those God rays. Masaweme. Oh, sorry. Where am I going again? There's
The
edge.
tree.
Let's see. Well, this is all pretty holy. I can go up that tree over there.
It looks that way too.
Let's see what we got here. Climb. Nope, that edge is too sharp. Do 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 do. Ah, so bright. So lovely. I can't see where the walls are. It's the light. Go, go, go.
Polar opposite of what Joe experienced. There's only darkness.
Are they calling you Joe now?
I think so.
Welcome.
I'll allow it.
Welcome, Joe. Let's go up this way. I think I figured out a smart way to climb.
I guess we embodied the yin and yang right there, didn't we? Light and
Yeah.
dark. Two halves.
That's right. Got to keep that balance. Into the sunlight.
Obviously, there's some work to do on the lighting mechanics. You don't have to feel bad about getting my name wrong. It's okay. It is Jeff, in case you're curious. That's fair. Most people aren't like that.
Oof, that worked out well. Look at that. It was right in front of me. Right when I came over the rock. We're getting there. We're almost to the tree.
Jeff with a G, not a J. It makes the same sound. It's okay.
As long as the E's before the O, right?
True.
Otherwise, who's Goff? I mean, really. Goof? Is that what you usually called it?
G off.
Geoff?
Goy. Goy. Good night, I got you. Thanks for tuning in. We're going to try and do this every Saturday.
Night, Sean. Ooh, that wood's broken. That wood's broken.
Are you kidding about leaving, or are you just kidding about being ashamed? I don't understand.
Thanks, Zach. Thanks, Will. You guys got it going on.
I see the tree in the background.
Yeah, we're really close. It's right
I'm
there.
so excited.
It's right there. Climb up the side of the mountain so I can get to... Now, what am I stuck on? Uh-oh.
That is
That's the tree. The tree's collision's too far out here. All right, we're going for it. We're climbing the tree. Let's do this. See, I told you there's collisions I got to work on. So this clearly has the simple collision on still. I didn't fix that one at all.
It's a good tree climb right there.
Classic.
I'm just gonna record this a little bit here.
So glad I found my tree.
Yeah, it's a beautiful tree.
Yeah, but look how easy this climb is because of this hitbox.
You secretly work for Bethesda.
I now understand how they think. Maybe that's what's going on.
It just works.
It's all good. Look at me go. Just climbing away. Just
Well, that's a perfect short right there. If I've ever seen one. Thanks for the comments, guys.
just enjoying the view. Don't mind me. Still climbing it? Yeah, I am.
What happens when you get to the top?
I don't know. I didn't think this would happen, so who knows? Could be. This might be the fast way up the mountain right now. Float. Just float to the side, guys. Yeah.
It just has one giant hitbox.
Yeah. That must be the lowest.
Oh.
Or the fourth LOD or something like that. So it's just a big bubble that shows a billboard. Because so for multiplayer, because obviously a world like this could probably generate on my computer okay, but certain things have to be scaled a little bit better. So all the trees, because we have to be able to see them from a distance, are there, but the trees after a certain point turn into what's called a billboard. And you can kind of see where that line is. You see where some of those trees start to turn red?
Yeah.
Those are billboards.
Oh, okay.
And so the further away I go, the more of them become billboards, which is just a 2D image, saving a lot of, obviously, tries and stuff. Versus the grass, which I've set up to generate around each player. And you won't over-generate for other players. There's a cutoff distance and stuff. But each player gets, the grass generates where you are so that you can see it. And it's not trying to fill the whole world, because then it takes forever. I crashed so many times trying to figure out grass. And now we've hit daytime.
And look how beautiful this place is. Everyone got to see this exact view pretty much in pure darkness.
Yeah, because you had flown over to this mountain.
Yeah.
Perfect. So if anyone took a screenshot, side by side it, you'll see what it looks like between nighttime and day.
Multiplayer adds a lot of challenges to it.
Tons.
And this isn't just small multiplayer that we want to do.
Yeah, the end goal is for it to be 80 player matches. And so, as I was saying,
so much for the mountaintop.
Yeah, the mountain or the plane regenerates depending on what player stats are carrying over, and as a part of that, there are 80 sort of nodes that are responsible for what shows up in the area. The distance between those nodes changes what happens. And then, so each, as you can do the math there, each player has their own node. But of course, if you're too close together, it'll cancel one out and make a wild node and blah, blah, blah. There's sort of a lot of interplayed mechanics in there so that people can work as a team and figure things out. There's also, because that sounds like a lot of guesswork, there's also a sort of play path that is opened up that gives you like position information so that you can strategize that sort of thing at the end of your match. You're like, oh, so you go over here and I'll go over here and this person will go there, and then provide, we should be able to generate the match that we want now.
Yeah, 80 players is an audacious goal for sure.
Yeah, they all say, don't you dare start multiplayer for your first game. And I was like,
yeah,
don't
lunch
tell me what
accepted.
to do. Don't you dare tell me what my limitations are, because I will show you that I don't have any. Eventually.
To be fair, we do have plans on if 80 is too much, how to still make it work with less.
I mean, maybe you do. 80 is my goal.
Oh, no. But we talked about, like, what if 80 people aren't queued up? How do we handle it? And things like that.
There's again,
literally the same logic would work if you just lower the number of players in it. You could use the same kind of logic.
Yeah. So that's there's quite a bit that can go on there, and the world is, again, the more you organize people in the larger groups. And so there's also tools once we add in the like guilds and stuff, tools for helping people sort of organize their guild and keep track with it instead of having to do all the like off-site stuff. I don't know, like the Excel sheets in EVE Online and all that stuff. I want a much more cohesive, like game-oriented communication with people within their guilds.
Yeah. Full circle to that question from before.
Yes.
You can't take my spreadsheet from you. We don't want to take it from you.
No, you can keep your spreadsheet. And if that's how you want to run your guild, go for it, okay?
If that's just how you want to min-max your character, you do that too.
Have fun! It's all
That's the whole... Exactly, just like in D&D. Some people want to min-max their characters, some people just want to make the weird, quirky character that they thought was fun. And then some people have a very, very specific thing that they want to do. We want all of that to exist.
Yes, there are specific reasons why you want to min-max your character in the game, because I understand that is obviously a play style for any D&D type character building concept. So there, if you don't min-max, there are certain things you won't be able to do. And then at the other times, min-maxing isn't necessarily... but you also aren't... Yeah, it locks you out of certain gameplay, but enables others. This is one of those mountains that just keeps on going.
Yep. That's why I flew to the top of it.
Is that why, or because you couldn't walk?
I mean, both.
I know. That was messed up. I'm sorry to attack your body challenged position.
When you plan to balance PvP and PvE, having them in the same world often leads to PvP players pushing out PvE players.
That's exactly how it's balanced. PvP players don't arrive until later because their job is to push out PvE players.
So the idea with the night cycle is the later you last, the better the rewards can be, right? Because you can get more stuff, you can find rarer materials at night and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And not only having the threat of other enemies appearing, you now also have the threat of players that are there exclusively to try and take you out. Correct.
Yes.
And that's where those houses come into play, or the factions, or whatever we don't really know what they're going to be called yet, but you'll be working with certain ones that want PvP and things of that nature. And we have other ways to balance out when there's someone that's like too aggressive or too good at certain things. There's other systems that we have ideas for to see, but we'd want to see how that works after actually having some proper sized playtests.
Yeah, the PvE and the PvP players are also sort of, their gameplay mechanics are also designed very specifically around those sorts of goals. So like a PvE player doesn't have nearly as much, and to be clear, you could technically PvP in the daytime. It's just that the world, the houses, have their sort of consequences to that sort of stuff. The PvP, like the shadow aligned characters, which are the designated PvP characters, PvP players, they themselves won't get punished for doing it because they're doing it as their generalized objective, but their gameplay is very different. So daytime, you can respawn and go back and get your backpack, versus as a shadow character, you get a limited number of respawns before you're just kicked out of the match too, because you're in PvP. If you die, then you're clearly not that great of a PvP player. So it's part of the punishment for being PvP, that your bar is different.
So if someone is a PvP player in one match, can they be a PvE player in the next one?
Yep. It's a difference in which one you queue into. So if you want to queue for PvP, so you just start at night and start antagonizing others, that's what you can do. Or if you want to play through the day and stick around for PvP, so that you're one of the ones trying to help everybody survive those that show up at the end, you can do that too. If you want to just show up for the day, get some stuff, roll out, and be happy with your non-highest tier goodies, then go for it. That's an option as well. Not everybody gets home from work and wants to have the exact same gameplay, even if it's the same game. So that there's a lot of variability in the amount you want to put into it.
And that's where the weapon system that we talked about is going to come into play heavily, allowing you to have that flexibility of which gameplay style you want to play in.
Yes. As well as the house perks. Those are bigger for like your how you interact with the map, versus your weapons are more of like how you want to manage through like combat and things. Combat or stealth, or whatever your mechanic is for sort of acquiring more power.
This is where I said everything the light touches is mine, and the light was touching nothing.
Gotcha.
If someone works nights, for example, would they be able to customize their time zones so they won't be limited by their life schedule?
The time zone is your day and night in the game is what's limiting your PvP, not in real life. So if you're so you don't have to wait till 8 p.m. before you can do PvP. You just choose to go into a nighttime version of the map. Nighttime time frame of the map. That makes sense.
So Maple says I'd be really concerned about that balance. I am usually the PvP player in these types of games, and often the skill gap means PvE players don't have a good time when the two mix. So the beauty of it is like the world is kind of trying to push you out as nighttime falls. So it's already getting hostile and you're already being pushed out. People who don't want to deal with the threat of anything can leave. So it's for the more casual player that usually gets like just stomped by PvPers, they would be leaving.
They leave
before.
Yeah, they leave at sunset. They're heading out when they've got a weapon and a couple of things. They're not worrying about staying late and seeing what major boss might come with the darkness.
Yeah. Whereas the more hardcore players, the people that are not necessarily afraid of PvP, they're the ones that can stick around, which actually, in theory, should increase the caliber of what you get in that PvP environment. Of course, there will be stragglers, and there will be the odd person that sticks around past the time that they should and ends up getting punished for it. But then they learn, right? That's a mistake that they can learn, and then they know leave before darkness. But it is something to be cautious of. You are correct that you want to make sure it's understood what happens at nighttime.
And it will be clear, like the denizens of the map, as it were, shift throughout the day as well to help indicate where the objective of the map is, if it's keeping you or getting rid of you.
So that kind of presents an accessibility issue and also means that those PvE players are barred from those better rewards. Makes the only true endgame PvP.
No, only because if you were, once we get to the guild level and things like that, if you were to fill the map with people that were all working together, PvP players can't enter if all 80 PvE players stay. So
Like we didn't mention. So
that's where the PvE endgame comes in, is much more in the cooperation aspect of it.
So a solo player will not be able to likely get to the end game without working alongside other people. That is correct. If they don't go down that PvP route, you are probably correct in that one. Because the cooperation is required. Yeah, so think of it like, I guess raids in WoW is a good example. You have the ones that there's nothing stopping someone from joining those public raids and everyone can jump into them. And they sometimes succeed, sometimes fail. But when you have a guild do that same raid together, it is a completely different beast. And so when the organized players decide to do something in this game, it'll work that way. And the hope is that that will be taught to others, and then people understand how to counter it. But it will never be always countered, because it would be impossible for everyone to always be organized to that extent. So like the idea is as players leave, it opens up a slot for a new player to join in nighttime.
Right. So even if it's 80 players that aren't talking to each other, but all 80 players are doing well, surviving and fending off the maps monsters at night, then that in itself would keep any PvEers from coming in. Alternatively, as I said, the PvE or PvPers have a life system, like a certain number of lives that they can have. So the number of PvEers that gang up on a single PvPer can immediately eject them from the map and then make it more secure. So there's also the PvP comes with a higher risk reward because you don't get the endless respawn of a typical game. You've got a finite number to work with.
Yeah, and that's also, you're raising a very good point though, because you are correct that organizing communities is not something that organically happens unless the tools are there or the gameplay fosters it. And so that's something that a lot of things where as you work together, you can learn how to spawn certain things. You can learn it. A lot of it is focused around that cooperation side of things to hopefully encourage it. But it is something that we'll need to be cautious about, and I've taken note of it because when it comes to balancing and we actually see the game going, that's something we want to be very cognizant of. So thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah, we're not expecting a lot of organic cooperation. I recognize it's a very counter culture way of looking at the game right now. Seeing a bunch of people work together as opposed to, but at the same time, this is what I think Helldivers tried to do a little bit of this, where they tried to make it a big global sort of effort. But it's marred by the giant numbers that you don't really get to affect. But something along those lines where everyone kind of wants to work together after a while. And we have lots of ways that we're trying to encourage it, not necessarily just go run around and notice that it works better. We have a lot of ways that people are going to be kind of not forced to work together, but like think of it like if you get a fetch me quest, it's going to probably have you go talk to a person, like an actual player. It won't send you to an NPC. And this is just, those ways of being like, oh, there's another player over here, and you're forced to interact even just lightly, not necessarily through voice or pings or anything like that, but just, go visit them so that you can deliver a high five to somebody, as a terrible example. But it's that kind of stuff is lowering that bar of, oh, here's another, person online, and I want to do my own thing and be solo tonight. Well, there's a lot more gained working together, and it'll tell you that over and over. It'll show you that in a lot of ways, and it'll, in general, we really want I'm building it for Jeff and I to play together. So if there's not like a constant reminder that duos are stronger, then we're not doing our job.
And honestly, this is where, literally what we're hoping for by bringing this out at this stage to the community is getting feedback like this, where we can learn from people who might have more experience in other things than we do, and can bring up different perspectives. Then once we get into the playtesting world, where we can actually have more people joining it, then we can start seeing what the balance actually looks like, how people genuinely play the game.
Yeah.
Oh, I appreciate it so much, genuinely. Because it's all well and good to say we have all kinds of plans to try and combat exactly what you're saying, but at the end of the day, if all the players just are in it for themselves, then what you're saying is exactly what will happen.
Yeah. And it's still, there will be, because there's also other ways in which some of those rewards come up, but they're in those ones we're going to be relying more on timing and a lot of the seasonality stuff. So it becomes, playing the world and understanding how the world's doing things, so that you can maybe discover that at a certain time of year there's a day where you can collect things that you can then turn into a secret merchant that hands you a thing. They're like, oh, I just got one of the more powerful spells out of the game that I didn't know I could get this way. But on that 73rd day of the season, you have that option. There's other ways of gaining access to those things. And then, of course, a lot of the stuff you're trying to access is the stuff that people learn. And so the availability through merchants is based on what people know or like what the characters have learned. So, say for instance, we're going to use Resurrect. That's one of my super powerful spells that I consider. So the Resurrect spell is one that is hard to get unless you stay and fight the certain boss that only shows up at midnight after you've done something else. That, yes, would be theoretically guarded by PvP, but on the 73rd day of the metal cycle, that spell spawns in the underground area, most of the time or something like that, but just on that one day. And so there are times where you still will gain access through the PvE side. During the day you can go find it, but it will feel like a luck thing if you're not paying attention to when the seasonality is hitting.
In terms of wipes, that's not really how the seasons will work, but they will kind of effectively do it. It's not that we're wiping character data, but as the season changes, the way that you would play is going to adjust, and so your current build might not be as effective in the next season as it is in the current season.
As a general sort of view of that, say in the season of fire, all of the elementals that you run across are fire guys, and so the fire spells aren't going to work nearly as well on them. And this is where that seasonality gameplay shifts comes in. So your water spells are going to be more powerful. Your metal spells are not going to be great. Stuff like that. And then as that season comes to a close, the next one will rise, which will be earth. And then you'll be dealing with earth golems while your fire spells are now useful again. and you can kind of base it off of that. The seasons aren't going to be like Diablo. Hey, new season, guys. It's seasons as in the changing seasons of nature, and so the map reflects that in a way that shifts your gameplay style for both, again, what is more effective on the map, thus that will probably yield you a better gameplay experience but less rewards versus what is harder to work with because of the season.
And so then as a new player, if I join during the third season, am I now behind because players have been playing for 2 seasons already?
Nope. You can, I mean, you might, like, you just don't have time in the game, so you haven't built up a repertoire of weapons, but all the weapons that people built in the last season are probably not as useful this season. They probably won't be useful for about a year when that season comes back around again. Or super useful, I should say. They're mostly useful throughout the year. There's one season where they're less useful, one season where they're super useful, so on and so forth.
Yeah, because it is very instance based, so it's not like an MMO where you build up. Like after a full year of play and a new player joins, players that have weapons stored from like a full year will be an advantage over brand new players, but not in a way that's going to be so overpowered that it completely shuts them down.
Yeah.
View is incredible at this.
The sun's getting a little higher now. Still quite early. Yes, I hate wipes personally. I like my progress, and I can't stand having to have it reset over and over. I was playing Dark and Darker for a while. I know it's in early access, but like it hit a certain point where they wanted to rehash some mechanic, and so they had opened up the ability to do multi-classing, which is my favorite thing to do. And so I almost bought the game. And then they wiped it for the next season because they'd only opened it up as the end of the season, and I haven't played since because I'm disappointed I have to work back up that small hill that I had started climbing already. So I really don't like losing any of your progress. So for that reason, the progress that is at risk is your progress within each match. In the overall world, you won't see your progress against other players in a measurable way, so that you feel like you're falling behind.
Like Destiny 2. I haven't played Destiny 2, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, I guess. I don't know. I don't think I've played Destiny 2. No, I haven't played Destiny 2. I was playing Halo more. So maybe yeah, I mean, if that sounds similar, yeah, then that would be.
And we do have on our roadmap, we don't know when, but things like an auction house and like ways to buy weapons that from other players or from like NPCs and stuff to help kickstart things. So that if you felt like you were behind, you could play a few matches, earn up some coin or whatever currency or whatever we end up implementing to allow you to then purchase some decent weapons to make sure that you're in a good spot to go into things. And then, of course, if you get involved in a guild and stuff like that, I'm sure that you'll get supplied in certain ways.
I was doing all this troubleshooting on my YouTube, and I'm now seeing that it's just like way behind. But not like on yours is caught up, but my studio view is showing it like way behind. I'm very confused by how YouTube's working right now.
That's okay. We should probably look at wrapping things up for the day.
Yes, I think so.
Yeah, the player market one, that's why it's on our roadmap, but we're not sure how or when we will implement it because of that exact thing that you just said. Um, we fully understand that side of things. That's why we're like the NPC market, where it's like the houses and stuff can supply things. We is where we think of it, where it's very much an NPC market style thing, and not a player market right out of the gate.
Hmm.
So you still spawn in beautifully.
I spawn in, but it's nighttime again. Interesting. Okay, so nighttime's relative to each player right now. That's something I gotta fix. It's in the level. It needs to replicate too? I'll have to check that out.
Our mentality with what we're doing is a lot of shoot for the stars and see how far we get to.
Land on the moon, baby.
Yeah, have plans for what would we do if we suddenly saw insane success and we were able to hire a team? What would our roadmap look like then? And then otherwise, if it stays modest and we're just building it out of Sean's house and just for fun, what does our roadmap look like then? We'd rather talk about like the big goals that we want to have and where we would like to see it end up if we could follow the biggest dream that we could, because that's the way to go. I love that. I love it. And I'm sure you're going to talk to me a ton at Pokemon tomorrow. Yeah. This has been an incredible first stream of what we're doing.
There's the wood. I found the wood. I found some wood on the ground.
See it.
So then you run over it and then you pick it up.
But honestly, I'm just amazed by the outpouring already. Like, this is crazy how many people are watching this first little image and all the questions and conversation that everyone was having.
Thanks, Zach. I'll get you in here playing soon.
And it makes me excited to try and get things set up so we can know who wants to play it, who wants to be in like a early access beta or alpha, I would call it. Right.
Yep.
Every Saturday, we're going to be trying to stream something.
Yes. And Jeff might be busy next Saturday, so
yeah.
Zach might hit you up.
And Sean, you can still stream over on Twitch as well. So 8 p.m. insert time zone here. Exactly.
Yes, you get it. You get the formula. That's how it goes. 8 p.m. That's our favorite time of day. We don't care whose. Somebody's.
And soon I'll have a client that lets me actually explore like you did. I will say, though, the day-night cycle felt way longer than 45 minutes, considering how long we are streaming it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You may or may not have sent an invite for the stream to the rest of the high school crew. Ooh. That's exciting. Thank you.
Well, thank you. Yeah, Sean's got my back. That's why Dan was here. Sean's got me. He knows what's up. It's 'cause we've always been like this.
I didn't even try and share it, and people were finding it.
It's because you accidentally had everything connected.
Well, I knew I had everything connected. I just didn't think people paid attention. But Maple found it from it being attached to my Discord, and I'm so happy that you did, because you had a lot of interesting questions for us to talk about.
Yeah, for sure. Sounds like somebody that plays a lot more extraction games than I have, so that's nice.
Sounds like someone in the gaming industry or something.
Yeah.
which is a very useful person to have in your corner.
Faux show.
But anything else before we wrap it up? Call it a night?
I think that's all I've got for now.
It really does. It just screams that you just love exploring forests and fields and want to do that. It reminds me of when I was younger and I jump in an MMO and you just want to figure out the world and explore it and see what's out there. That's what it feels like. I just want to run around and see what's hiding in all the nooks and crannies of this world.
There's already some things. So, and
I know.
barely started. Having barely started littering it, so it's going to get really fun. I have lists of things that I've been working on. So.
And now you're in the pressure chair. So now people know it exists. No, the trees with weird hitboxes, that's a feature.
That's
the
not coolest thing in the world, okay? I'm gonna attach a chain to my character and the tree so it makes sense why I'm floating away from it, and it'll be fantastic. I just put the big tree in yesterday, so I didn't even take a look at what the hitbox was on it.
You just wanted a focal point.
Yeah, well, because I wanted you to be able to look around and see something big and wander off towards it. So.
Which only works between 9 and 11 p.m. service time.
Yes. Gravity is an illusion. Don't let it fool you. Okay.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for all of the work you did, Sean, and sharing that with me and everyone. And thank you, everyone, for tuning in. I'm going to end it here and hopefully see you guys next week.
Yeah.
Grappling hooks confirmed.
Actually, yeah.
Bye, everyone.
Yeah, we'll get into that another time. Have a good night, guys. Thank you so much.